Will you assign the opening statement? You can take it. You can give it to Colin.
Colin got it.
Colin.
Make sure to say something nice about your teammates. And if you have a good joke.
So we are scheduled to have an opening statement by Kentucky coach Mark Pope, but I understand there might be a change in plans. Colin Chandler.
It's been delegated to me. So today was a great battle. We were prepared very well for this team. This Troy team was very good, and they came out and did what we thought they were going to do. I thought we did a very good job in the first half in containing them on the offensive glass. In the second half, it got away from us a little bit, but we responded very well as a team. I thought we stayed very connected as a team. The leaders on our team that have been here before helped us to come together, and I thought it was a great team effort and a great first win this year.
That was really impressive.
That was very well
Thank
done.
you.
Questions for
Can we
the
give it up for Colin, please? Come on, people. That's good. All right.
questions for the Kentucky student athletes, please.
Yeah, this is for Colin and Ortega, John Huang, Nola Media. But your teammate sitting to the right of you evidently has a very short memory. He comes out, shoots an air ball, his first shot. But as Coach Pope says, it's so important to be resilient. Can you talk about how important that aspect is to be able to rebound and come back from something like that?
Yeah, it's huge, and I mean, Coach, he tells us every day, you know, we're just gonna keep on shooting our shot regardless what happens, and you know, he has confidence in all of us. So you know, when you're a basketball player, like that's something that you love and that's something that you need. Like you just have a short-term memory when it comes to these stuff. So I mean, BG, yeah, he came in and shot an air ball, but he responded perfectly, had a great game. So I think that just shows what we do here. We just keep on playing.
Yeah, we know what we're going to get out of BG. Make shots, miss shots. That doesn't matter. He does the controllables very well. His energy is great every game. He's out rebounding and defending the things that you can control. So we know what we're getting out of BG every night.
Daryl Bird with the Cats Paws in Lexington. This is for Colin. Can you walk us through the whole journey it's been for you this year, coming off the mission trip, having not played, and to where you are now? Do you think you're ahead of schedule? Is there more to come? What do you think?
I don't know if there's a schedule at this point. You know, you come back, and I didn't know what to expect. And there's been ups and downs and setbacks, but it's been a great learning lesson this whole year of patience and trusting myself and trusting God and His plan for me. And so it's been and it's going to continue to be that way, I'm sure. So I don't know if there's a schedule, but I know that I'm right where I need to be right now, and so I'm here to contribute and to help the team as best I can.
I'll just add this. It's been super cool to watch Ortega and Colin together. Brother, like, Colin makes a good play. Ortega's the first one to run over and, like, dap him up and hype him up. And Colin makes a young play, and Ortega's the first guy to say it's okay. And having mentors like that on the team, and it's these two together is pretty special for us.
I was going to follow up then, Ortega. What's it been like watching him? The trust level has had to grow throughout the year as far as he's learned and he's got back into the groove. What's that been like?
It's been great. I feel like this is, like, he's exactly where he's supposed to be. I mean, every day in practice, we work out together, like, we're on the same basket. So, you know, I'm just seeing it, like, everything that he's doing and knowing, like, he's really trusting his work and doing everything that he works on. So, you know, it's great seeing it. We're at the end of the year where, like, freshmen aren't freshmen no more. So he's definitely not a freshman no more. He's not playing like a freshman. So, I mean, I'm happy to see him succeed. And every time he goes out there and contributes to us, it just makes us better.
Anything else for the student athletes?
Brandon, I'll ask you this one, and Colin and Ortega, please chime in too, because I know Coach Pope will try to deflect it, but to be able to get him his first NCAA tournament win, how important is that, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's very important. You know, just Coach Pope, a very special individual. He trusted us three to bring us on the team this year. You know, it was empty when we first got there, so and just all the talks me and him had, it was just special getting him his first tournament win.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the first of many. It's fun to celebrate it and be a part of it with Coach Pope, but it's the first of many for him. So we're grateful to be a part of the first one.
I'm just grateful that BG can't walk around calling me the big zero anymore.
Anything else for the student athletes? Okay, guys, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Good luck Sunday.
Appreciate it.
Questions for Coach Pope, please.
BG.
Yeah, Mark, if you would, the whole journey for Colin, the frustrating moments and where he is now, can you walk us through that?
Yeah, I'm going to not be overstated. I'm going to try and understate this. But it is the best part of coaching. The best part of coaching is watching guys that are super committed and have a ton of talent and a great work ethic, and just watching the process of them kind of realize themselves a little bit. And here he is on the biggest stage he's ever been on in his entire life, in a high pressure game with a bunch of teammates that are, you know, hanging on by a thread health-wise, and he's just like, guys, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to go get this. And, you know, what we don't see along the way, and this is super special to me, but we don't see all along the way is all the quiet moments in the Wildcat Lodge where he's by himself wondering if this is ever going to work and did he make the right decision, or the times he rolls out of a game and the team has won a huge game and he didn't get to play, and so he's battling within himself the emotion of, like, I have to celebrate with my team, and dying inside that I'm not contributing. Like, it's just this beautiful process that these guys get to go through, and the guys that keep going, like Colin Chandler, they get this moment. And he's got so many more moments ahead of him. He's going to be a terrific player. But to be able to kind of bear witness to that and mentor and shepherd these guys through that process is really special. And the guys that hang in there and keep going at the end of the road means something more than any of us probably recognize, because we weren't in all those dark, doubting moments that the players gone through to kind of get there, and fighting to keep your confidence in the whole process. I actually love it. I think it's super inspiring. That's why I'm talking about it so much.
Matt Jones, Kentucky Sports Radio. Mark, I know you know BBN.
Everybody here knows who you are.
I know you know BBN enough to know what they're like. And I felt like there was a lot of tension around the fan base because of what had happened in the early games the last couple of years, which had nothing to do with you all. When the game is out there when you have a high seed against a low seed, you want to play loose and not have that pressure. When it's 25-24 and it's staying close, how do you make sure your guys are like that? Because then they went on a run, so that they're not starting to feel like, oh no, is this happening?
That's a battle that all of us face, and we never totally win, right? So we talk about being present all the time, but that's a battle. It's not like it's not something you do 100%. It's like every single minute you're trying to talk yourself off a ledge. I had for me also, I'm fighting so hard to keep bringing myself back to not taking on the magnitude of the history and all the things that are just too big. They all turn out to be distractions. I'll compliment my staff. Mikhail McLean grabbed me yesterday and he didn't cuss me out, but he settled me down. He's like, Coach, we've had more time to prepare than we normally have. We're too much in the weeds. Like, you got to breathe right now, and like, we're going to be good, and we, and just be in this moment. And that's how a team works together. That's how a staff works together. And so it's a constant battle. I was really proud of our guys being able to just kind of lose themselves in this moment. We talked about it before the game, 3 things, and it's true for all the guys. There's nowhere in the world they would have rather been than to be right here tonight. There is nothing they would have rather been doing than playing this game tonight. And there's nobody in the world they'd rather be doing it with than these guys on this team. And when you have, those moments are rare. Like, if I sat, anybody down and said, tell me exactly your dream scenario, where you'd like to be, what you'd like to be doing, and who you'd like to be doing it with, it happens very rarely that you're actually in it with them doing it. And so I thought our guys did a wonderful job tonight about being fully present and understanding that this is everything we want. Why would we want to miss it? Why would we want the game to get over? Why would we want to avoid it? Why would we want to fast forward to the post-game press conference after a win? like be here. And I thought our guys did a good job with that.
Yeah, Mark, 2 of the 3 guys up here came off the bench tonight, and Trent Noah could have been. Can you talk about, I guess, I don't know if unsung heroes is the right word, but the contribution from the guys who didn't start the game?
Yeah, they're really important. I thought one of the biggest plays of the game was Trent's first 3. I thought it really mattered. You know, it was a great play by Amari out of a tech set. Just to see it, Ortega kind of broke his cut and went down the middle and sucked it in. And they're kind of coming from Monster anyway, and the skip pass was really terrific. And so I thought he had a huge impact. I thought he was really solid defensively. And TP played really good, solid minutes. And Colin, of course, was spectacular. And BG, you know, BG, I'm telling you guys, like he's going to turn into a really, really special. All these guys are going to turn into really special players. But you know, our roster right now is in tatters, and these guys are doing this just on sheer love for each other and will. In terms of guys' health right now, there's so much going on. So these guys coming off the bench are massively important. If we're going to have a chance in 48 hours, they're going to be just as important. And clearly, they're proving that they're ready to step up and do it.
Yeah, Adam Rittenberg with ESPN. Mark, I think 23 assists on 28 field goals. Coaches always want that.
Yeah.
What allowed you guys to be able to do it tonight?
Well, it was the ball protection. It was guys being diligent about being aggressive. So it has to start with being super aggressive. This Troy defense is terrific. Like, they're a great defensive team. They're incredibly disruptive. They're number 7 steals team in the country. And so, and they're really, really disruptive, changing defenses all the time, everything from an I-3 to a 3-2 to a tandem zone to a press, to 12 being a rover and running around and just making unconventional defensive plays. And so the first thing is our guys being really aggressive, but they were aggressive to 2 feet and they were trying to make plays for their teammates. And against a team that's really disruptive and aggressive like that, that's actually the recipe, and our guys answered the bell really well. Ton of credit to Troy, though. This is a great team. They've had a great season, and Scott does an unbelievable job, and those kids have fought like crazy. They're a really, really, really good team. They're a terrific team.
Lily Zell, Fox 6 Milwaukee. Coach, just what's it like coaching in a city you played in and obviously earning your first NCAA tournament win here for Kentucky?
Yeah, if you indulge me, I'll give you a short, long answer. So I love this city. This is, Leanne and I, like, really in a lot of ways began our life here. My oldest daughter, Ella, was born here. I got to play for George Karl on, one of the best Bucks teams in the last 30 or 40 years with incredible teammates that I still love so much. I was a terrible player, so I just was a guest on the team, but it was really special. And I think about, if you'll let me, I think about this Milwaukee tradition that I got to be a part of, super important to me. Junior Bridgman, who's a legend here and also a legend in the state of Kentucky. He passed away just a few days ago, and I don't know if there's a better representative in the world of what you can on the trajectory that basketball can set you in for the rest of your life. I talk to my guys all the time about, man, I hope every one of you goes on and plays in the NBA, and I hope it's like the 10th most interesting thing that you do in your life, the 10th most meaningful thing that you do in your life. And you talk about great human beings. This Junior Bridgman really special. So I know all the people in Milwaukee and everybody in the state of Kentucky is mourning his loss. So it means a lot to be able to be here. We still haven't got any cops custard. I'm disappointed that we made that happen yet, but we have other business. But Milwaukee's really special to us, and the Bucks are really special to us, and so to be able to be here and be competing is pretty great.
Tyler Thompson, Kentucky Sports Radio. To piggyback off that, I know it's going to take you some time to process this, but what does it mean to get your first NCAA tournament win with Kentucky, with this group?
Well, it means that Mitch is not going to fire me till Saturday or Sunday or whenever we play next. Leanne and Shay and I and our family have this unimaginable opportunity to come try and do our best to represent this one-of-one program, and that really means this, and the opportunity to do it. But the trick is it's not about us at all. It just is not. It's not. And so I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. I spend a lot of time thinking about our guys where this is their one shot to do this. You know, most of our guys wearing a Kentucky jersey, and I think about BBN, and it means, you know, when you understand how much it means to our fans and this community, that's the stuff that's really important to us. It just, you know, we just are blessed to have a chance to be here and do everything we can to help it work. With that said, you talk about this BBN community. I heard this. Am I allowed to say this? So you think about tough things. The great Vernon Hatton. He's a legend, all-time legend at the University of Kentucky. He passed away, I guess, just before the game. I just heard that after the game. I had a chance to go spend some time with him a couple weeks ago, and maybe we spent, Mark Hill and I got to go, and I don't know if we spent an hour with him and just got to sit and listen to stories, and I could have spent day after day after day. He just is, what an amazing trailblazer he is, and what a great member of the BBN community, and what a great legendary basketball player he was. And for me, he's also a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and he was a trailblazer in the game of basketball for me, certainly at Kentucky in that way, and it's just an example. I mean, he just is a beautiful human being and gave so much to this state and this community, and so we'll mourn his loss also, but that's BBN. It just is, there's a whole lot of goodness.
One more, please.
Ryan Black, the Louisville Courier-Journal. Mark, I apologize. I know you've hated all these questions about the first win as UK coach, but taking kind of a bigger picture look at it, does winning an NCAA tournament game as a coach, does it feel any different than all those victories you had as a player with Coach Pitino?
I'm sorry I'm giving you terrible answers. I wish I had something better for you. It means something to me because we're doing the best we can to do the job that we're doing, and it means something to me because it really means something to our guys, and it really means something to me, guys, because that means we get at least 48 hours more together. Because when this comes to an end, hopefully it doesn't come to an end for 3 more weeks, but when it comes to an end, it's going to be super painful for me because I get to be around these incredibly special guys that are literally given everything under massive duress. And I mean, what these guys have overcome just trying to actually get onto the court is pretty special. So we're trying to do this as long as we can.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations. Good luck. Milwaukee comes through again. So we'll have an opening statement from Troy coach Scott Cross, please.
Yeah, obviously it was disappointing to lose the basketball game. You know, our guys played hard. Kentucky's extremely talented offensively. They got going. They went on that 16-0 run. There are 8 minutes left in the second half. That kind of changed the game. Our intensity dropped a little bit. But, you know, again, I'm so thankful to the good Lord to have this opportunity for these guys right here, Tate and Theo, the rest of our guys on our team. You know, I want them to remember all the great things that happened throughout the year. You know, I think our guys believe that they could win the basketball game, but, you know, again, Kentucky's a really good basketball team, and the size obviously affected us a lot. Maury Williams, plugging up everything in the paint was hard for our guys. I think we were able to get some good looks off of the pick and roll, but then you go right in and you've got a 7-footer, shot blocker sitting right there in the paint. That's hard to deal with. And then when you kick it out and your threes aren't falling, it makes it really difficult to score baskets. So, but again, I'm so thankful for our guys and what they've done this season. It's been 17 years since I've been to the NCAA tournament. I don't take that for granted at all.
Thank you, Coach. Questions for the Troy student athletes? That water's for Tayton.
Jack Sturdivant, Sports Journalism Vision News. Tayton and Theo, you guys are both seniors. What does it mean to be able to go to an NCAA tournament in your last season?
I mean, it's really everything to us. Ever since we were little kids, this is what everyone on our team has dreamed of. So it's really just a dream come true. But especially to do it on our senior year, it's an honor playing for Coach Cross with the rest of the guys. So it was really just an amazing experience.
Yeah, definitely just blessed to be here. I mean, it's the type of stuff you dream about in the driveway when you're shooting them last-second shots, and now you're actually under them big lights. So definitely a blessing. I also wanted to take a second just to thank Coach Cross, because at a JUCO, not a lot of coaches gave me a chance. They kind of looked over me, which, is understandable, but Coach Cross really gave me a chance to let me come out here and show what I can do, and I always appreciate him for that.
One of the greatest decisions I ever made, Tayton.
Anything else for the student athletes, please? All right, we'll let you show her up. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And questions for Coach, please.
Great job. Appreciate it, Joe. Yeah.
Thank you.
Coach, at the beginning of the season, I'm pretty sure you were ranked 3rd in the preseason Sun Belt polls. There's been a lot of ups and a lot of downs this season, but you ended with a conference regular season championship, a Sun Belt championship, and a trip to March Madness. Just kind of talk to me about this season.
Yeah, overall, very, very, one of the best seasons I've been a part of. In fact, it's the first time in my career that we've won both conference championship and tournament championship. And so, these guys came together at the right time. We didn't play our best basketball tonight, but what they did during the last, 3 or 4 weeks is absolutely amazing. We thought that we could do it. We believed we could do it. But, we had a bunch of heartbreaking losses throughout the year. Again, 5 losses in conference by a total of 14 points. But our guys put it together when it counted. And, this probably one of the best teams I've ever been a part of, and very, very thankful to be their basketball coach.
Yes, sir. And Troy's a long way from Milwaukee, but it seemed like you guys had a lot of people show up tonight. Talk about the loyalty of this fan base, and especially just how special this fan base is, being that Troy's such a small school, but they're willing to travel 15 hours.
Yeah, we're so thankful for our loyal fans. They give us a great home court advantage. In the Sun Belt tournament, they were loud and proud and really lifted us, especially in that championship game. And then, of course, we saw them right across the bench, and they were cheering their hearts out. And obviously, we had it close there in the second half before they pulled away and went on that 18-0 run. It was starting to get loud in there, and they were making a difference. But, yeah, we're thankful for each and every one. We know we have a whole bunch of them back at home in Troy that were cheering us on as well. And we thank them, and they're a big part of our success this year.
What will the off-season look like?
Probably give them a week off of just, get back in the academic swing of things and get back in a routine, and then probably the next week we'll start lifting weights because we have to get bigger and stronger. And then, probably do that for 2 weeks, and then we'll get back on the basketball court and start working and building and trying to develop these guys. I think player development's one of the things that has helped us get where we are, and so you can't take too long off. The guys got to get back in the gym and work on becoming better basketball players and working on those skills. We have a great staff that's always in the gym with them. Our guys do work. We have a great culture of guys, putting in extra time, and it didn't necessarily show today in the way we shot the basketball, but their time paid off for us throughout the season.
Hey, Scott. Aaron Gershon from the Cats Paws. In that 16-0 run, Colin Chandler and Brendan Garrison came off the bench and scored 14 of the first points in that run. When those guys step off the bench, just how dangerous does that make Kentucky, and what did you see specifically from those two guys in scouting?
Yeah, we knew that they could shoot. You know, you kind of have to pick your poison a little bit with how you defend them. You know, Bray was the focus of our attention in terms of the three-point line, but you know, and then Almanor as well was another one we knew could flat out shoot it, but we knew those guys are capable. Anytime you hit three-point shots, especially in the NCAA tournament, it just energizes your team. Once they hit those shots, they're got a little bit tougher. Probably our defense dropped down a little bit. They're backbreakers. You know, you can't give up dunks, you can't give up layups, and you can't give up threes. You know, teams can make all the 15-foot shots, all the free throws. Those don't really change the momentum. But you know, the back-to-back threes, those are backbreakers, and it energized their team. And you know, it demoralized our guys a little bit because they pulled away and got it to 15, 16 points. And I didn't think we had the same level of grit or toughness for about 4 or 5 minutes there. But our guys did make another run, and you know, they did fight to the very end. And I'm proud of them for that.
Hey, Scott, John Huang, NOLA Media. You mentioned the 7-footer, Kentucky 7-footer, Williams. You had film on him. You knew he would be tough, but when you get out on the court, maybe what unexpected challenges did he pose for you guys?
Yeah, his size and his defensive ability was, you know, greater than what I expected. I mean, you know, you see on film that he's a big old guy, but standing next to him, and he really defended the rim well. I felt like, you know, we were able to, you know, get some advantages off the pick and roll to where we could maybe play 2-on-1, but then, you know, you drive it in there and, you know, he's blocking shots, or, you know, he's bluffing and getting back and he's walling up guys. It just makes it really, really difficult. About the only thing you can do is pick and pop. Jackson Fields did that a couple times. You know, he got a 3 or 2, and but you can't live and die by a 5-man picking and popping the entire game. It's hard to win basketball games. So, I mean, he definitely gives them a rim presence, a rim protector. You know, would allow them to be a lot more aggressive, and you know, they can make mistakes defensively because they got a guy like that. And Carr too. I mean, he's a great team defender. He's got size. He's got length. You know, it makes it tough. And then, you know, Butler does a great on the ball. You know, I think he gives them a big lift in terms of their defensive DNA. Oweh, you know, is a really good defender as well. And so, you know, those guys collectively now, I think, you know, they played a really, really solid defensive game. If they can continue to play at a high level defensively, they're as good of an offensive team as I've seen, you know, throughout. You know, I watched a lot of college basketball. I made the comment earlier, I think Rothstein first and then Scott Cross second in terms of how much basketball they watch. And Kentucky can really, really score the basketball. And then, you know, they have probably, you know, in Bray, one of the best shooters in the country. I mean, he has to be a top 3 shooter in the country. And so you have to respect that. That opens things up for so many other guys. Tough to prepare for sure.
Coach Cross, Adam Miller at the Sun Belt Conference. This was a team that brought back 12 players from last year's team, and at any level of this sport, that's not a very common thing. And now that you've reached the end of this season with that group, any kind of raw emotions, feelings, thoughts about what, you know, this team's going to mean to you and what you think it might do for your program going forward in terms of continuity with the players in your program?
Yeah, I told them in the locker room that I'll be forever thankful for each and every one of these guys. Told them, you know, the other team that I was a part of that went to the NCAA tournament, they still have a group message, and, you know, 20 years later, they're still texting each other and staying up. These guys will have lifetime memories. They'll be friends for a lifetime. You know, it doesn't happen very often in any sport in Division I right now with the transfer portal. My boss is sitting right there. You know, I think he understands too. It's probably never ever going to happen again in the history of Troy basketball, but it did happen this year. We wouldn't be here if it didn't happen. You know, I'm thankful to him for all his help as well as his boss. But, you know, the guys were close. I think their relationships, they saw how many guys were entering the transfer portal. They felt like if we stayed together, we could do this. And so it's, you know, it's a beautiful thing that what you set out to do actually happens. It doesn't always work that way. So, yeah, it definitely will help our recruiting. You know, you can just see people are more interested in the program, recruits. We had a guy that committed to us, you know, and I don't know if we're not in the NCAA tournament, does he commit right then? Well, I don't know. So it definitely, and I think the effects will continue to happen for the next recruiting class, because now all of a sudden, you know, Troy is in that championship contender. You know, we talk about it. We had a lot of successful seasons, but until you go to the NCAA tournament and you have trophies and banners, you know, it's just a hope. So I think this season definitely changed the trajectory of Troy basketball.
Coach Cross, thank you.
Thank you. Can our guys take the?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I know they'll want